welcome to the May 26th meeting, and hope everybody's doing well, and got a few things to cover on the agenda today. So we're going to start with the almost standing item of ACSESS invoice payments reminder. So poor Jennifer still chasing people for their year 2 payments, and they're 4, 5, or 6 months into year 2. So please remember to do that. And when I do topic submissions, as it gets closer for you to start submitting topics, I'm going to try to remember to see if you've paid. So that might be an incentive. If you haven't paid, I won't be able to submit your topic. So please make sure that you're up to date on your invoice for year 2. I'm going to talk a little bit about rebate update. Mini guides that the WSIB created, the pilot for small business. Many of you who qualify would have gotten an email from me already, so I'm going to go over that. Do the topic review. One of the ones from last meeting was control of hazard topic, improper manual material handling resulting in sprains and strains. So I'm going to go through the PDCA for that. Just a little announcement around free safety training for your clients that may be in the manufacturing industry. Then next meeting, suggestion topic reviews and Q&A, and adjourn. So that is what we've got set up for today. All right. So I did the invoice reminder, please, so that we don't have to chase you. Rebate update. So there's been a change in the rebate. There used to be for especially this mainly affects smaller companies, where the rebate was capped at 75% of their premium paid, which means you can never get more than 75% of what your premium paid was in the previous year. Well, they've taken that 75 out and put it to 100. So basically, it had two things. You'll get your money back from your premium up to 100%, can't get more. And if it doesn't reach 100%, then pretty well everybody's guaranteed now a minimum payout of $1,000 per topic. So that is a change to the program, which will be ongoing now, to remove that 75% cap. So that's good for those folks that got affected by that. And basically, as long as you're not at 100% of your premium, if you do 5 topics, you're guaranteed $5,000. All right. So that's pretty straightforward change. I don't think there's any questions on it. Everybody understands it. So that'll affect everybody, not just small business. So WSIB, I guess, I don't know, got some feedback from folks that they don't like the 99-page guide. I don't mind it because everything's in one place for me. So what they did is they took that guide, that version 5 guide, and they split it into 4 mini guides. The program has not changed. The layout, the simplified wording for the different steps in the program, as you recall, join, develop, demonstrate, and achieve. And so if you're just starting out and joining, all the information about registration and joining and setting up the portal and all that stuff is in join. All right. And then develop is all your topic selection, and the topics, the introductory, intermediate, and advanced, so the topic lists and the topic selection. Demonstrate is the PDCA, evidence collection, submission, and then achieve is all the rebate stuff. Okay, so those are already available. I believe, Jennifer, did you get a chance to upload them? I sent them to you, or maybe you didn't get that email either, so I don't know. They will be.
Maybe I'll double check with you, but I can. Yeah,
that's okay. They will be available in the ACSESS library. They are already available in the resource section of your digital tool, the HSEP tool. They are going to do a consolidated version, and they're going to do some videos and webinars to go along with these. So, you can still use the version 5 guide. It's just they're going to remove it eventually, it won't be available. And then, it's just maybe easier, less pages to go and look at the guide that you're working. And it's probably, if you finish topic selection, most of you will be on the demonstrate, which is the PDCA and evidence story and all that kind of stuff. All right. So when those are up there, you can have a look, download them, and the content will be in there as well. Like I said, no changes to the program, just the way that they're marketing the information. All right. Any questions? All righty. So small business pilot. So obviously it seems like the WSIB has money to blow, I think part of the surplus. And so they're trying to grow the small business category within the excellence program. And so there's some significant incentives that are listed here. I know it's a busy slide, but I just wanted to put it all in one slide, and I'm just going to, kind of talk to it. So first of all, who qualifies? If you log into your portal and you look at your firm profile, and one of the items is size, if it says micro, small, or medium, you qualify. All right. And I already went through the list, and I sent an email out to all of those of you that qualify because you fit that definition on their portal. And so I encourage you to take advantage of this rebate, of this pilot. So first of all, what are they going to do? They're going to give you 1,000. Well, the first one actually is the 75% cap. That's removed, but that's for forever, right? It's to 100%. Okay. Then they're going to give you, and that removal for everybody, by the way, will be retroactive. So in your first year, if you were affected by that cap, they're going to top it off to $1,000. So whatever you got, if you were affected, they're going to up it, and you're going to get a supplementary kind of check. So if you're wondering why the board credited you some money on your account, and you're not even a small or micro, small or medium business, that could be why. All right. The next thing they're going to do is you're going to get $1,000 just for joining. Okay. And so any micro, small or medium firm that joins is going to get $1,000. The idea of that is to go towards your registration fee for the program, right? So it pays for signing up for the program. Okay. The next thing they're going to do is they're going to go retroactive, and they're going to double your year one rebate. So whatever you got, they're going to send you a check for double the rebate. So minus what they already sent you. So if you got, $4,000 and you're entitled to $8,000, they're going to send you a check for $4,000 because you already got the $4,000. So rebates retroactive to March 2020 will be doubled. Okay, minus the amount paid. They hope to get that money out by August 1st, 2022. So again, if you're affected, you're going to get a double rebate retroactive. Okay. Now, in order to do that, and probably most of you on the call are here because you're active members, you have to have a current active plan this year. So if they quit, if it's a firm that is not returned from year one, they're not going to get the double rebate. They have to have at least an active action plan with at least one topic approved in order to qualify. Okay. So the other thing is they removed the need for the rationale form. So you still have to select topics, but you don't have to do the rationale, right? And just basically click the topics that you're going to pick. And I usually, I like if you can fill them in on the form so I know which ones you picked. So I don't have to go looking it up every time to remember, what topics are you working on. basically they've removed the rationale requirement, trying to simplify the process. In addition to retroactive, all the topics that you complete in 2022 by December 31st, that means your action plan is closed, which means the validation submission by me has to be December 2nd. So they won't accept any submissions after December 2nd to qualify for the double rebate. You'll still get your single rebate, but to qualify for double rebate, topics in year 2 action plan, if you want to get another double rebate, have to be submitted by me for validation by December 2nd. Which means if you want me to get them in for you, I need to get them obviously, to at least 2 weeks. You got to give me before that to guarantee that I do the reviews, I give you any feedback. If there's a huge gap missing, we can fix it and then submit it for validation. So we want to get all your topics in for validation by December 2nd. If you happen to get an AER, the deadline is for those is not going to be 60 days. The deadline for AERs, additional evidence required, will be December 16th, so that they can get their validation done at their end by the end of the year to qualify for double rebate. Okay. So if you miss the deadline, you still get your single rebate, you just don't get their double rebate. Okay. The payout for the double rebate, they're not even going to make you wait the quarter. They say that they will give it, the payout for the double rebate will be by January 2023. So basically the next month, they're for the folks in the pilot, they're anticipating getting the money out. Obviously, you can see they got to spend the money in the fiscal year of 2022, and that's why those deadlines are there. Many of you that qualify, your expiry date is already before December. So that means you're going to have to submit anyways before December 2nd so you should, as long as you do that and your action plan is closed prior to December 2nd, then, your submissions are done prior to December 2nd, then we're good to go. They will be closing out those action plans regardless. For those that qualify, they'll close them out by December 31st. Our job is to get the validation submissions in there by December 2nd. Okay. They also, for the pilot, have committed to a simplified evidence story and supporting evidence template, which I haven't seen yet. So they're trying to simplify the whole process, the submission process. So as soon as I get that, I will send it out to those of you that are affected. If it's simpler than the one we're using, I don't know. So that's another thing. They're trying to make the validation process even simpler. So the submission for evidence story and evidence. So stay tuned for that and how simple it's going to be. I couldn't tell you because they haven't let us know yet. Okay. They're going to do some sort of a tip sheet for validation that might help us through the process. So when I get that, I will pass it on to you. And then they also committed that validators will apply a small business lens when validating. Validators will also support members throughout the validation process to increase their chances of success. In other words, if there's small, minor things, they might just call you, verify with you, and that's it. They're not going to do an AER. So they're trying to make it as easy as possible.
Sorry.
Any questions, Brian? Do you have a question? You're unmuted. Oh, you're muted now. If you are not sure you qualify, just log into the portal, go into your firm description or profile, and one of the categories in the whole list of stuff they've got is size. And that will tell you. If you do qualify and you didn't get the email from me, okay, then let me know. Maybe I missed it on the list. I ran a list of all our members, and basically filtered it for everyone that was micro, small, and medium on the portal. And that's how I, sent out the emails notifications. So timelines are tight, but many of you are in your year 2 with a expiry prior to December 2nd. So that timeline shouldn't affect you. You just keep going with what you're doing, and let's get those in so you can get your double rebate. All right. I doubt there's anybody here that hasn't rejoined. If you haven't, you might want to give it some thought to qualify. Doesn't cost you anything. And you only have to, to qualify for the retro, have to have an active plan with one topic. And technically, you don't even have to complete that topic. You can, once you get your money, you can defer it or say, I'm not doing it. And then, if you wanted to, right? So that's not the idea or the intent, but they're not going to disqualify the retro double rebate or the $1,000 if people don't finish or complete the topic or their active action plan. Any questions? So for those of you who qualify, I think this is a really good incentive. What gets carried over to 2023, I have no idea. They're trying to see and trying to get some small business into the program. And hopefully they'll stay if they have a good experience with a simplified process. Questions, comments, opinions, observations? I'm gonna do a mandatory camera on meeting next time. I should have done that at the beginning of when we started online meetings, instead of me talking to a wall of black squares with names on them. Thanks, Brian. Yay, I got 2 people. If I had money from the WSIB, I'd give you an extra $50 just for putting your camera on. All right.
The guilt is real.
Yeah. And any questions on the sorry for you large businesses, you already get enough money, so there's nothing in it at this point for you. All right. I don't see any questions in the typing. So, all right. So last meeting, there were some suggestions for topic review. One of the topics was controlled hazards due to improper manual material handling results. So I created what a PDCA would look like. Even if you didn't pick this topic, it would probably be a topic that you might want to put on the to-do list for yourself, maybe next cycle, because it is a common hazard. If you do any placements where they do manual material handling, you could certainly use this topic, right? And probably many of you do placements for folks that do this. So I'm going to change my share to my Word document. I believe it's here. And make it a little bigger for you. All right, so the way that the topic is described is as a hazard. So COH, controlled hazards, and you have to describe the hazard. Remember, when you pick a COH topic, and so it's improper manual material handling resulting in sprains and strains, right? So that's the description of the hazard and the possible impact, health or safety impact to injury or illness impact to a worker. So under plan, this is just a sample, right? So some of you may have standards and policies already on this. So please chime in on any of the Plan, Do, Check, Act so that we can get input from everybody. But I basically, I put it as new. I mean, it could be a gap if you already had it. but I kind of categorized it as a new. So we selected this topic as we have significant amount of manual material handling activity. Our risk assessment identified that this hazard poses a medium level risk and controls are required. So it's always good on a control of hazard topic to link it to your risk assessment, that, telling them that this is where it came from, right? They like to see that. We implemented administrative controls. I think there's a typo. Administrative controls with developed an SOP for manual material handling and reviewing possible engineering controls to try to minimize the need for manual material handling as much as possible, right? So I'm using, again, they like to see that you're applying the hierarchy of controls related to risk management. So administrative and engineering, right? And in your case, you can word it anyway. We made recommendations to our clients because you can't go in and change put in their engineering controls, right? So you can reword it, to make suggestions for engineering controls to your clients. But certainly the administrative control you can do because that is SOP training, proper lifting techniques, and you are able to at least put in that control. So the evidence here, the SOP for manual material handling could be a policy, procedure, SOP, whatever you want to call it, right? You don't have to go too crazy, but some sort of a document that you use as your training and communication tool, you have to develop it, right? So then we've got to implement this thing. So after the SOP was approved, we developed a safety communication for all employees. We added a proper lifting video to our health and safety orientation. You could just say, you added some proper lifting slides, whatever, to your orientation. We also communicated to all supervisors to review all manual material handling activity and investigate any options to adopt engineering controls, right? So again, you can make suggestions. If a client takes you up on it, you can ask them, please, if you could do a before and after picture. So, whatever you're able to carry out on the do side. On the evidence, copy of the communication could be screenshots, copies of emails, attendance if you did some sort of a safety talk, if some sort of a sign-off sheet, depending on how you do your training, before and after pictures for introduction of engineering controls, a screenshot of the video or the slides you created for your health and safety orientation. Basically, anything you can do to show that you actually implemented this SOP through training, communication, and any visual tests that you do, questions that questionnaire or something like that, to show that people understood, were trained, and they actually completed the training. All right. So that's plan and do. Any questions on plan and do? Any comments? Any of you have done this? Do you already have something in your safety training related to material handling? Any other ways you've done the training that someone you could add to this? Nobody has a manual material handling safe operating procedure. Everybody's going to put it on the list for next year. All right. So the check, I put after 3 months of implementation, we reviewed the success and status of this control with the Joint Health and Safety Committee at a meeting. So that's one way to check. We reviewed our accident incident stats since the implementation and no incidents reported to date related to manual material handling, right? And the evidence is the minutes of the meeting where it notes that we did a review with the committee on the controls and we were happy with it or whatever. So to show that there was a review, you can even put a screenshot of the stats that show, there was no incidents related to manual material handling. That's good examples of how you could check for this particular topic. All right. And because my check went so well, I put at this point the results of the check show that the current controls are working. We'll continue to monitor and adopt engineering controls, minimize manual material handling as much as possible. And then there's no evidence required because there is no gap. That's manual material handling resulting in sprains and strains as a sample, okay, not carved in stone. We will upload it to the portal, so it will be available under the samples. Not the portal, the Access library. So keep mixing the two. Anybody want to add anything? Did I miss anything? Any different ways that you could approach it from a staffing agency? Remember, I always emphasize that, it's all employees. So whenever you can emphasize that you trained, your full-time and your placement staff. I would always write it into the evidence story because they like to see that when they're doing these validations. Make sure that you're focusing on both, and most of the time they're more interested on how you're protecting your placement workers than your full-time staff. I did many years ago, but it was for loading and unloading trailers. Exactly. That's just another control of hazard topic, right? So you might want to revamp that one and use it again, and make some updates to it if it's many years ago, and reintroduce it. So, and is it, there's a difference between manual material handling and mechanical, using carts and wheelies as well, right? So you could, those are engineering controls, right? But proper use of carts, pushing, pulling, and then there's using motorized equipment, right? There's a pedestrian hazard, that could be a control of a hazard, pedestrians struck by, right? And then forklift safety, if you have forklift operators as a control of hazard topic, right? Okay, not the policeman. Okay. So lots of hazards related to material handling. This one's just, the manual, right? Which is a very common in many, many industries, no matter how much engineering people has to, in a lot of places are still lifting and moving stuff. And so this is there's always going to be a hazard, depending on what and the loads and all that. And so potentially can be a control of hazard topic. Nobody has any questions, comments? Can unmute, add to. All right, so this makes sense since I didn't get any questions. People understand it, the approach to the PDCA, trying to keep it straightforward, simple, don't have to go on, and write reams of paragraphs, just kind of follow the guide document, tell the validator exactly what you plan and what standard you developed, exactly what you did. And it's more than all communication, it's implementation, communication, and training, right? Sometimes people just put the training, but there's no other evidence of actual implementation. And any samples of any forms and pictures and all that, remember, those are always great evidence. They love to see that. All right. Back to the agenda. Since there weren't any questions. All right. So something that I'm involved in with CME that I thought I'd share with you, because a lot of you do provide placement services to manufacturing. And so the government of Ontario is sponsoring CME to provide free health and safety training or courses. to the Ontario manufacturing sector until March 2023. So if you wanted to get the word out to any of your clients, and I'm sure they'd appreciate it as a, you know, a bonus for working with you, that you found out that they can take advantage of free health and safety training. And it only is for Ontario manufacturing sector. So they have to actually manufacture something to qualify for the free training. The first course of a number that is going to be run is health and safety law for managers, supervisors, and joint health and safety committees. So again, you're welcome to advertise to your manufacturing clients. If they are interested, there is an email for the program coordinator at CME that is taking people's names and filling course dates and all that kind of stuff. And there will be more courses. I'm actually teaching them. So I'll be adding more courses over time. So again, if you wanted to give this little bonus to your manufacturing clients, they might appreciate you. And so I thought I'd just pass that information on because many of you do service the manufacturing sector. All right. Questions, comments on that? Just wanted to share, get it out there. Can you sign up for these courses? Right now, the answer would be no. But I am trying to see if I can get that to a yes. And if I can, I will. Because you supply temporary labor to manufacturing. So would that qualify you? But right now, the answer is no. And if it changes, I will let you know. All right. So right now, this is for your clients as a nice bonus that you found for them. You can even say, in thanking you for working with us, we were able to find out that CME, that it is offering free training, and we wanted to pass that on to you as a good client of ours, or something like. Make it sound like you're offering it free, right? All right. Next meeting agenda suggestions. I think I have one topic from that meeting, which was, I think, workplace health promotion. So I can do that at the next meeting. That's actually one of the topics. And I can write down any other topic suggestions for topic reviews for the next meeting. If you want to type them into the chat, unmute, I'll add them to the list. And or if after the meeting, what was that? Sorry. Did somebody have a topic? I thought I heard. Anybody want me to write down a topic they would like reviewed? Nobody wants it. Injuries with forklifts. So that would be pedestrian, right? Is what you're referring to? Or the forklift operator, which would be forklift safety program. So there are two separate hazards there. Because usually companies that have a mobile equipment will have a pedestrian safety. Which one was it? Injuries with forklifts. Can you clarify?
I guess I thought I was on mute, but I'm not. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Yes, with pedestrians or other people working around the forklift.
Yeah. Okay. So pedestrian, basically it would be a pedestrian safety program as a control of hazard topic. Okay, great. So I can put that one together for next meeting.
All right, take care.
Can we talk about WSIB temp employment rate setting? Okay, that rate, temporary rate setting. We can talk about it, but is that something I'm not involved in that? That's something maybe Mary is involved in. So maybe a whole separate meeting outside of the excellence program. So you might want to shoot an email to Mary, or is there consultation going on right now? Because I'm not in tune with that, because I don't necessarily always get involved or emails. So if there is,
There's, I think it's, there's submissions that are going through till June 30th. There's questions on the WSIB website. So I was just wondering what everyone's take on it was, to be honest. So, but I can shoot an email to Mary.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind putting an agenda for this meeting, but we would have to invite Mary or somebody who is involved in the consultations to speak to it, or set up a separate meeting to address it with members. So definitely something that can be added. So just need to keep me in the loop. If you send an email to Mary, copy me on it,
Sure.
so I know, and then I can shoot her an email about it as well. That's something that it came up at our meeting. So rate setting consultation.
Yeah. Let me know whether you want me to, or.
Yeah, no, it's better if you do it,
Okay.
because it's coming from a member, and then I will also do it. So that way she'll get 2 emails.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Definitely something of interest to everybody. So we should address it, even though it's not directly related to the excellence program, but certainly we can open up the agenda to any other safety issues or industry issues, with on these meetings as well. So not a problem. All right. So topic wise, any other topic you want me to cover? Everybody's got a great handle on their own topics, so you don't need help with it being developed, or a PDCA on it, or a review or discussion on it. For any of the topics that are within the program, there's already a sample evidence story. So I only don't rewrite one. The only ones I would write a sample for is the control of hazards ones, because there's no samples for those. All right. Next meeting date, adjourned, Q&A. Any questions on any aspect of the program, anything you're dealing with, anything I've covered today? Any other topics you want to talk about? Anything else related to health and safety that possibly you have a question about, or maybe want on the agenda for future meetings? Any of you got calls, customer service calls since our last meeting? I know they're doing them to say, hi, how's it going? How are you? No?
An email.
Yeah, you got an email?
Yeah.
And what did it say? Because they don't copy me, so.
It said,
you share-
how's it going? And then I had some questions on the controls on the MSI, because, basically we send employees to production facilities and we don't really have much control on the engineering.
Right.
So they said, well, just go through the hierarchy of controls and review the guidelines.
So all that was in an email?
Yeah.
And how do they know? So they must have looked up that you send people to that, like, did they know?
No, I specifically when I replied, I
Oh.
said, I'm working on this and I'm having, kind of hard time with the controls because, we can't do the whole
Right,
range of
can't tell your-
controls.
Can't tell your
Yeah.
client what to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's fine. I would just appreciate it. So I know it's happening, that you can CC me on it as your provider when you're exchanging emails. So I know it's going on, because, we've already told them that, we don't mind them contacting our members, but let us know that you are. So there seems to be I don't know, a little bit of hiccup or miscommunication or whatever it is when, because, it's, so they call, it's like, I think I put it on the agenda about 2 meetings ago. It's the WSIB customer care, client care, whatever they call the department. Basically they do random calls. How are you doing? They're checking in. Any issues, anything we can help you with, and then that's it. Right. So, and so Lee, there was great, an example, I guess the initial email was like a general email, right? Of like, how are you doing? Are you having anything we can help you with? Is that what?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. And then you did reply. And so they gave you an answer back.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
Actually had a call from Florence Petrakis.
Oh, yes.
Yes, yeah. So she's reached out to me a couple times and we just discussed the program, how it's been going, how much, if it, benefit to manpower, and then we preset touch points throughout the year. So she will connect with me throughout the year and just get an update. So it was nice to hear from her because I'm familiar with her from a few years ago in the program. So
okay,
that's how they reached out to us.
Yeah. So there's another example, customer care. Again, the only thing I would ask is if you can keep me in the loop so I know it's happening.
Sure.
They should be keeping us in the loop, and I'm going to bring that up at our provider meeting again. Not that we, it's just so that there is alignment between what they're doing and saying and what we're doing and saying, right? So, and whatever help you can get from whoever, that's great, right? If there's any additional help you need from me as the provider, let me know, right? So if there's any additional resources that they give you that we could share with everybody, let us know, right? So we can all benefit from that. But they have, I guess, consultants and they're making the calls. So I don't know, I sometimes akin it to a make work project, keep people employed, because it is a bit of an overlap to what providers are doing. But it's their program. And I guess they want to do customer care calls, not much we can do about it either. So again, that's why I bring it up. It's good to know. It's not a big deal. They're doing follow-up, seeing how you're doing, need any extra help, guide you where they can guide you. But if I would appreciate it if you do CC or reply, that you copy me on it so that I know that it's happening. All right. So that's good. Good discussion. Anybody else? Any questions, comments? All right. Let's look at the June calendar. Oh my God. Before you know it, summer's going to be over. Hasn't even started. Let's see. How about the 30th is a Thursday? Or wait, that's before the July 1st. So maybe people are going to take that whole week off, you think? June 30th? It's the day before the July. What do you think? Can't do, right? Yeah, there's going to be maybe back it up to the Wednesday instead. June 29th. Yeah, the Wednesday. That's what I was thinking. All right. 1 p.m. June 29th. Mark your calendars. Jennifer will send the invite out. Let me double check all my calendars to make sure we're good. June. Yes, should be okay. All right. Well, I won't keep you then. Thank you, everybody who joined us today. And we'll speak to you, if not before, on the 29th. Again, if you need any help between then, let me know. Also, reminder that I'm expecting pretty well, as we talked about last meeting. I know a lot of you did send me your draft PDCAs for all your topics. So if you're 2 months in to your new action plan, those PDCAs are due and overdue if it's past 2 months. Please send those in so I can review them so that we don't have any surprises and we can avoid that from happening. If you don't send them and there are surprises, not to my fault. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, and stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.